Hello, my writers. Today we are going to talk about adjectives. Adjectives are used to describe nouns. We use them to help us identify them and to give more information about a noun. For example, I have a whole bunch of pens in this cup. Now, if I said to you, go get the pen, you would look at this cup and think, well, which one is she talking about? So I could use an adjective to help you understand which pen I'm talking about. So if I said to you, please go get me the purple pen, it would make more sense. You'd go up to this cup, and grab this one out because it's the purple pen. Okay, so we need adjectives to really clarify nouns. Okay, it helps us understand them and also makes our writing seem a little bit more interesting. So today we're going to use an example of shoes. I have a lot of shoes in my closet, and if I said to my son, "Go grab me the pair of shoes," and he's like, "Which pair does she want?" Right? Well, I'd have to be more specific. I'd have to give him some adjectives to describe what pair of shoes I'm talking about. Okay, so these are the pairs of shoes that we're going to describe today. Specifically, this one right here. Okay, so we're going to use this shoe to talk about adjectives and just to describe it because a shoe is a noun. It's a thing. Okay, so now we're going to describe it. So let me zoom in on my chart. So common ways that we describe nouns using adjectives is we talk about the size, the color, how many, how something behaves, its shape, and then we use our five senses, how something smells, sounds, feels, tastes, and looks. So today we're going to use this shoe as an example, and as you can see, here's my red shoe on our page. All right, so let's start with size. Well, what could we say about this shoe? Well, for some of you, if you went to wear my shoe, you'd say it's kind of big. Okay, so big is a word that describes size. Now, we can also use other size words, big, small, medium, huge, gigantic, depends on what we're describing. So for my shoe, it's just kind of big. Color, well, that's an easy one. What color is my shoe? Red, but it's not just red. There's another color on there too, white. So the color could be red, any color word, right? But since we're talking about my shoe, it would be red and white. Okay, how many? Well, really, my picture only shows one, but how many shoes do I have? I have two. It's a pair. So how many is a number, any of our number words. And I'm going to actually write that word two because usually when you see it in the sentence, it's written out. So two, or my number word two. Okay, how many is an adjective that describes my shoes? Shape. When I hold it like this, kind of looks like an oval, doesn't it? It's rounded. So we're going to say oval, rounded. Okay. So depending on what shape, what object you're looking at, the adjectives can, if you're looking at a penny, the adjective for that would be round, right? Or if you're looking at a box, it might be square or boxy. Behaves. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, this is such a good shoe. Behave can be how somebody actually behaves, or it can be a word that talks about what it's like. So my shoe, it's not a good boy or bad boy, right? But my shoe, it's comfortable. That's a behavior word, comfortable. Okay, it's comfortable. Comfortable, that describes my shoe. It's also, it's comfortable. I would say it's nice. I mean, it's not the best fitting shoe, but it's a nice shoe. Okay, that's kind of about how it behaves. So we can say some things are good, bad, nice, kind, comfortable, uncomfortable. Okay, so that's about how it behaves. Right, and then we have these down here. I'm going to scoot down a little bit. So these are our 5 senses words. Our 5 senses words are adjectives, okay? Words that describe an object. Now, I want to point something out before we get too far. Every time an adjective is only one word, one describing word, okay? So I wouldn't say, it is red, isn't an adjective. Red is the adjective. It's one word that describes the noun. So big is an adjective. It describes the shoe. White describes the shoe. Red describes the shoe. Okay, so I want you to understand that before we get too far. An adjective is only one word. It's not a whole sentence. It's just one word in the sentence that is being used to describe something. So then we have down here, so back to our 5 senses words. Remember, I think in kindergarten you learned this too. We use our 5 senses to describe things. We can talk about how something smells, how something sounds, how something feels, how it tastes, and how it looks. Okay, so the smell of a shoe. Stinky. Okay, so stinky is an adjective that describes my shoe. Stinky. Other things can smell sweet. Okay, sometimes it smells good. Sounds. Well, did you hear anything? No, but guess what? My shoe is quiet. Quiet. But you know what happens when I walk? It has a rubber sole. So right now it's quiet, but another adjective that I can describe my shoe is squeaky. Sometimes when I walk it makes a squeaky sound. Okay, so squeaky describes my shoe. Squeaky. All right, how does it feel? Well, feel it. It's a little bumpy. I have a little texture on there. So feel, bumpy is an adjective that describes my shoe. Bumpy, okay? But then if I feel over here on this part, smooth. So smooth is another adjective that describes my shoe. Sometimes more than one adjective works when we're talking about my shoe. Okay, and that's the same for a lot of different things. Taste. Well, guess what? I'm not gonna eat my shoe. So what do you think it tastes like? Probably bad, right? Nobody's eating a shoe. So it tastes bad. And we're not even gonna try it. We're just gonna know that it tastes bad. Okay, because sometimes we can't use the adjective taste, right? Because you wouldn't want to taste a shoe. Looks. Well, I like my shoe, so I think it looks pretty. So pretty is the word that describes my shoe. All right, and let me see. I think they're kind of cool. So cool is another word that describes my shoe. So boys and girls, all these are adjectives that describe my shoes, okay? Shoes are my noun, and then these are describing words. They're words that tell about my shoe. So again, remember adjectives, you use an adjective. It's one word that describes something. And you can have more than one word in a sentence that describes it. I could say my shoe is red and white. Okay, so red and white would both describe the shoe. Okay, so adjectives are words that describe a noun.